Lori Fleckett of Soltar Solutions, and I'm here today on Focus Forward. I have a phenomenal guest for you. You're going to love her. Help me welcome Jodi Davis to Focus Forward today.
Hi,
Jodi.
Lori. Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Well, thank you. So tell us, you have so much going on in your business, I can't even get over it. Now, you've just taken on a new partner, so you have that. I know you've done this phenomenal study that is going to help everyone to be able to, like, be happier, manage their jobs better, and be more fulfilled from their job.
Absolutely.
Tell us about this study.
Okay, well, we did a nearly 500-person study across the country for professionals ranging in age from millennials all the way to baby boomers. We wanted to know what career practices they considered most important, and then which ones did they actually put into practice to help achieve their fulfillment and satisfaction with their career. And the results were stunning. So we're very excited. People that will connect with me, I will be happy to send them a free copy of the report when it's published. And we are designing instruments for people to assess how they compare to the benchmark people. How satisfied are they, and where are the gaps in their career, so that they can have action items to say, oh, I just need to be doing this, this, and this to achieve my full potential.
So what were the surprises?
The biggest surprise was that I have in the report the 10 career practices that people most often ask me about. How can they do them? So I thought, well, I wonder which one is more important. The surprise was they were all important. Whether people said they were unhappy in their career or very satisfied, they said they were all important. So that was very interesting. There was also no difference in educational achievement and satisfaction. So whether someone has a high school degree or a graduate degree, the people were all the same across the board, average satisfaction. It was not the factor that distinguished them. What was interesting was people who were more proactive with their career, people who sought out a career action plan, who developed a career action plan, who had their resumes ready, who built a network and did community involvement to meet people naturally. Those people were more satisfied by a huge margin, 150% more satisfied in some cases than people who said, I'm not satisfied with my career.
Wow, that is huge. Now, you mentioned resumes.
Yes.
So a lot of people, they do their resume, they send it in, they get a job, they never touch their resume again until it's time for them to go out and find another job. Tell me about that. Is that the smart way to manage your career?
No, the smart way to manage your career is two things. To be sure that you can speak what's on your resume with conviction. And having a resume that's written well, that highlights the best that you have to offer and what you can contribute, the value you can bring, and then owning that so that you can articulate it in an elevator, in a job interview, in a phone conversation. And being able to keep track of your career accomplishments all the time, keeping that up to date. You never know when you're going to get a phone call that says, we want you to interview for a new position in our company, or someone calls and says, your name was mentioned, I want you to interview for this opportunity. So I think having an up-to-date resume and then investing in making sure that you can own your accomplishments, speak them articulately, and infuse yourself with confidence about what you've been able to do in your career.
So do you have, I know you do resumes, do you have people call you even, when they're employed and say, you know what, I have a lot of things that have happened, I've taken courses, I've done this, I've done that, I've had these successes, how about if I send over my resume and do you have people that do that?
Absolutely, and I use a collaborative approach. I want to talk with them about the things they've done, how they made a difference. I just don't put words on a resume. And I will tell you that I tell all my clients, a piece of paper will not get you a job. People will get you a job.
Yes.
And so in order to get people to say, I want to talk to you, you still need a great piece of paper when you meet the right people.
Awesome. This is great advice. So what are what things do you think every resume should have that most resumes don't have? Can you tell me anything like that?
It's absolutely, I call it almost the 7 C's. The resume should be comprehensive, it should be current, it should be clear and concise, and it should be clean. Clean meaning don't pack it to the very brim, have white space. And a lot of people reading resumes are reading a lot during the day. And I hear this from recruiters. It's actually the 5 C's. I'm sure there's 2 more. But the people that are reading resumes, the recruiters, the hiring managers, they really only use about 5 seconds per resume to see, are you employed? Where were you employed? What's the value you can bring? And when people write resumes, often by themselves, they write, what am I interested in? What do I want to do? And the answer is, what's in it for them? What can you bring to their organization? What have you done? What transferable skills do you have? And people call me a lot saying, I've been in city government for 30 years and I'm moving to another city. I don't want to be in city government, but how do I transfer my skills? So we have to look and say, where can you add value? And there's a lot of value for all the experiences you've had. It's just a matter of looking deep and understanding how you can leverage that in new environments.
Well, that's great. So I love the idea of having someone else, because I think resume writing is the most difficult thing that there is.
It's hard to talk about yourself.
I think it's really difficult. So it seems to me like if you have someone else write your resume who's a professional, it makes it easier for you to be one of the people that's chosen to come in and interview, okay? So it helps you there. But if you are the one that is chosen for the job, it seems like you're making that money because you get a better offer. You're making that money back that you may have, that you paid the professional. It seems like it's a no-brainer to me. I don't know.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that. Just yesterday I had a woman call me. I helped her with her resume. She's currently employed, and she's in the nonprofit. She wants to return to corporate. So I helped her with her resume, and she called me and said, I have an interview next week. Can you spend an hour coaching me on the phone preparing for the interview? So she sent me the job description for the job she's going to be interviewing. The truth was, when we were done, I helped her align exactly her skills and experiences with what their needs are, what the qualifications. And at the very end, I said, you know what? You articulate so well who you are. You look great on paper. And yet you exude confidence, you sound good, you sound clear. You're able to tell them why you're passionate about wanting to join their team. And her answer was, I said, yeah, I don't think you even needed a coach. And she went, you know what? I needed to feel confident, and you helped me do that.
That's awesome.
So that was fun.
That's awesome. So now tell us a little bit about you. I know you're an author. I mean, you do it all.
I know.
Write resumes, coach. I mean, you do it all. Speaker, trainer, amazing.
Well,
tell us about your book.
Well, my passion is writing. I have a love affair with words, and I've had a love affair since I've been a little girl. And my journey is about achieving my potential, and that's my mission and my passion for helping others. Whether it's an individual, a team, or an organization, particularly nonprofits, I want them to achieve their potential. So I took 20 years of lessons and put it in that book, and it's a step-by-step guide for someone. We'd say it's like putting a coach in your back pocket. You don't have to hire a coach. You can do the exercises. All of the resources I've learned from, all of them are named in the book, so you can go read more deeply into any area. It's about knowing who you are, being authentic, having a vision for what you want, and then being able to put into action the steps to go achieve that vision.
This is gorgeous.
Oh, you're so nice. Thank you. You know why there's a diamond on the cover? What I learned in my life, and it's so true, that human beings are like diamonds. Diamonds are the most precious and valued gems. No 2 diamonds in the world are alike, and diamonds were made over billions of years under heat and under pressure. And the biggest thing that just was an aha moment for me is we value diamonds even with their imperfections. So each of us are multifaceted gems, and I know that you have to be in the right setting to shine. So sometimes people are in the wrong job, or they're just in a situation, even a relationship, they just don't feel good about themselves. It's because they're in the wrong setting.
Mm-hmm. This is amazing. Perfect size. I love the size of the book. It's really it's gorgeous, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
I work a lot with authors, and I help them with their books, and I love it when I see a book that's so, beautiful. It makes me want to open it and read it. It's got a great cover, beautiful paper. It's nice, a very nice book.
Thank you so much.
And tell me about this one.
That's special to my heart. Mm-hmm. That is a story that actually took me, Lori, 22 years to write. It began as a journal when I had my third pregnancy, and I'm very intuitive, very metaphysical, and while I was writing in my journals 35 years ago, I wrote, "Something's going to be wrong with this baby." And as it turned out, my daughter was born, a beautiful baby girl, was born with a heart defect that no child in the world had ever survived. I was fortunate and I was blessed because she lived for a year. And I journaled every single day of her life. She had 5 doctor groups. She was in the hospital on and off for extensive periods of time. And after she died, I tucked the journals away for years. And then I brought them back out again, and I said her life had meaning. Her life taught me that there are gifts in adversity, and that we all have challenges. We all had love loss, jobs loss, relationships. We've had issues with health. There's no one that's spared. So I wanted to use my daughter's life and death to teach others about the gifts in adversity. So my son named the book The Heart's Gift because her heart gave us new life, new meaning. And the book took a long time to write, but I extended it. Kept the letters from her life. I kept the letters going until what would have been her 21st birthday, telling her about things that happened in our life, including the attack on the United States on 9/11. And every chapter talks about what was the gift and the lesson in that event. And then the best part was we did the book launch on the 21st anniversary of her death as a fundraiser for Children's Hospital, where she had passed away. And this Mother's Day, we're doing a relaunch, a special promotion of the book, because we think it's a timeless story.
It is a timeless story. And of all the things a mother would experience, this would be the worst. The passing of a child.
There's a lot of people that do buy the book, and we give the book to mothers and fathers whose children are ill at the Children's Hospital, and to help them know that they're not alone. At the same time, the book talks about divorce, it talks about losing a job, it talks about personal health issues. So people who have these happening in their lives and they don't want to feel alone, and they want to say, how can I see the gift in why this has happened to me? This might be a book for them to feel that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you are blessed when things are happening to you. You don't always know why it happened to you, but you are blessed.
Well, I've heard people, parents who have lost children, have taken that experience and they said that they had to get something positive from that, and it has taught them so much. So I think that we can all learn, all right, without having that experience. When we hear about stories like this, when we read them, when we experience them, I think that we can all learn from that.
I agree, and whenever I speak to an audience and I'm telling my story, I ask my audience, I say, how many of you have had something difficult in your life? And I go back to the basics. You know, it's what's in your heart, being the best you can be. If you have grief, if you have hardship, feel it, and then move on. And I talk about find the blessings, and sometimes it means turning your thinking upside down. So often people with victim mentality say, why me? Exactly. And I say, ask why me, but ask, why was I given this challenge? What am I here to learn about me? I certainly found out I was stronger. I was able to be independent. I was able to go to graduate school, get a divorce. I never knew those things about myself until my daughter lived and died. And I like to say that her life and death breathed life into my existence.
Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't even imagine how, that whole, having the child have, illness, birth, all these, I can't even imagine. It's just.
Well, I've learned, because it happened so long ago, and I meet so many wonderful people, and I meet people who I am in awe of, people that are very close to me, who are so brave, and they're so strong, and I admire them. And I think that no matter what someone's tragedy, no matter what someone's adversity, we can't compare adversity. We can only look at the strength and look at the wonderful qualities of the person who comes through it. And then the idea of giving back to others, transcending your own tragedy to give to others, to help them.
I don't know if you remember, but you organized an event at Children's Hospital, and we went in. There were a whole group of us from the Wolf organization, and we made this whole dinner for all these people who had the children in the hospital. Do you remember that?
We did two things together. That was when we went into the Ronald McDonald House and we all cooked a dinner for the families, and we had so much fun doing that. And the families were so grateful, and it was a state-of-the-art renovation of the Ronald McDonald House inside Children's Minneapolis. The other one that we did was we did an event called Toast to Children's Hospital when they were building a new cardiovascular center. And because my daughter had heart disease, and Children's is a regional center for the treatment of cardiovascular diseases and congenital heart defects, which is the #1 defect of children born in this country. So we had all of the Wolf friends and other people come and drink wine at a little restaurant called Toast with a silent auction that the Wolf girls put together. We raised $50,000, and people said to me, "Oh my gosh, how'd you do it?" I said, "We drank a lot of wine."
Yeah, we've done a lot of fun things. We met through the Wolf organization, and that was amazing. I met so many people through that. Because I had been here probably 10 years before I had been involved with that. And it was like instant friendships. I just had so many friends from that. So you get involved with things and you never really know. And then pretty soon you're, cooking dinner here and you're doing this and drinking wine there. I mean, it's amazing. So tell us, I know you have some great news for your business. I know you have this, now you have this partnership that you're working on or have.
Well, it's a new partnership with a new marketing firm that just designed our new website. And they're so creative and innovative, and they do a lot of work with entrepreneurs, and they're called Wowza. And when I first saw our website, I went, wow, Wowza. So that was awesome. And I think the new things that are happening are the Career Best Practices Benchmark Study. It's a mouthful to say even before a glass of wine. And the fact that we do a lot of work with nonprofits. I think that's a part of me that coming from my daughter's death 30 years ago and sitting on the board of Children's Hospital and then serving as an executive director for another children's agency that was founded by parents who had lost a child. That's not unusual to have that happen. And what I found is now taking my skills from my company and going in and helping nonprofits achieve their potential, particularly boards, because I believe success starts in the boardroom. So people are donating their time. They're doing this not because they're getting paid. They want to give back. Well, let's help them be as effective as they can be, because then the nonprofit achieves its mission even better. So those are the exciting things that we're doing.
That's great. That's great. So who is your perfect client? Tell me about your perfect client.
My perfect client is someone twofold. An individual who wants to achieve their potential and is open for looking at their strengths, their development needs, where they can add value, what their career vision is, looking at the positive side of things, always turning things, not what's wrong with their life, but what's present that's working well, and what's missing that if it were present would give me more fulfillment, more achievement, more satisfaction. The other perfect client is a nonprofit board that is invested in an awesome vision, whether it's helping children, whether it's human services, health and human services, women's development, nonprofits that are embracing the needs of people in our community that have less than others. And when a board opens themselves up and says, we want to do our job better, we want to be more fully engaged, because with our involvement, we can be the link to the community, we can be the guardian of the assets, and we can be the visionary to let this nonprofit go further. I love working with nonprofit boards to help them do that, and I feel like this is one place where my age lets me say, I've had 30 years of experience doing that, and it's fun. There's no two clients the same, no two nonprofits, and no two individual clients, but I get a sense of fulfillment for helping others.
Wow.
And I get to wear sweatpants and sit in my kitchen at my computer doing my writing. I get to do it all.
With your little dog.
With my dog, which I know this is a short program. You don't want me to get talking about the dog. She's the love of my little life.
I love that dog.
She'll be 1 next week.
Oh, nice. I can imagine.
And of course, we have to say her name. She's so sweet. Her name is Tiramisu, an Italian little dog.
It's adorable. So I've been on boards, and I think one of the most challenging things I've ever done is to actually try to get the board to get out of its own way. I mean, it was really a challenge. So it would have been so great having someone really go in and help the board to be more effective. I mean, we wanted to make changes, we wanted to make things happen, but it was very difficult.
Well, one of the things that we did, which was back in 2010, we did a study of board members and executive directors. Again, nationwide study asking them to rate the effectiveness of their board experience. And we took the information from the boards that said they were performing well, the high-performing boards, and we compared that to the boards that were less effective. So we had this benchmark data. And when I go into a nonprofit, I don't like to go in and say, here's what I think you need. I want to hear them say, here's what they think they need. So they take the assessment, they take the board performance assessment, very candidly, confidentially telling what's the strengths of the organization, what's needed. I always ask, what's your vision for the organization? What's present that will help you get there, and what's missing that if it were present would help you achieve that vision. And then I give them the results of their assessment, of course ranking them to a high-performing board or seeing if they're aligned to low. And the beauty of this is there's no right or wrong. Many of my boards are very high-performing, and what they're getting is a roadmap to how to go even higher to the next level. And how this serves them, the benefit for them, is they can recruit more board members if they're a high-performing board. We don't want to waste people's time. People become disengaged. You lose not just a board member, you lose their money and you lose their connections. The other thing is if the board is high performing, or if they have a plan for becoming more high performing, it's easier to get donors and contributions to the organization. So I love to use the assessment because I get to say, this is what you told me. So let me help you with these top 5 things that we think you can do based on what you said to go to the next level and advance your organization.
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience when you're in an environment where they don't want to make change. And things change. I knew that there was an issue when I knew that there was an issue with change. People who had they'd been on the board, some of those people had been on the board for over 20 years. And they wanted things to remain the same, but everything around them had changed. Organizations changed, the people had changed, the new people coming in to the group, everything had changed.
When the economy has changed and the environment, the competitive environment landscape has changed. So change is a constant. I just wrote a blog about that change brings opportunity. And we have to, again, change our mindset in order to embrace that opportunity.
And that's another thing with the resumes. Maybe people who have had, maybe had their job for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, resume writing changes. I mean, I remember when you could only have 1 page, then it went to, okay, you could have 2 pages, then it went to, all right, 3 pages, but not more than that, then you write a resume like this. There's so many different types of resumes now.
There are different types of resumes, and one of my favorite stories was, to your point, that people don't even think about their resume. A gentleman that was from another city, he was recommended to me as a CIO of an airline, and the airline was merging. So he got my name and he calls me up and I said, well, why don't you send me your current resume? And he said, honey, my resume came over on the Mayflower. And he never thought 30 years in a senior leadership role that he would have to go and figure out what he had done to then find his next opportunity. So keeping it up to date is important.
It's very important. It's very important. Okay, so what 3 tips could you give the audience about what they can do maybe to manage their career better?
Absolutely.
Or what 3 things?
The number 1 tip is to have a vision for what you want. And whether that's in your personal life, your professional life, in your job, in your next job, When we say have a vision, I tell people to hold firm to the impulse and let the form be flexible. If you have a passion, if you have skills, if you think there's something that you'd like to be doing, have as much clarity as you can. I sometimes call it a visceral vision because you can feel it, you can't articulate it. And then let the universe bring some of the energy to you of what that might look like. So and the vision can get formulated as you go forward. And when the phone rings, when a new opportunity, you'll know it, you can feel it. So for every phone call, every meeting, every job opportunity that you're seeking, have a vision of where you want to spend your time and contribute to your potential. That would be number one. Number two, I would tell people that do 3 things every single day to help you get to that vision. And they have to be really productive actions. That they can be working on your website. They also need to get you out of the office. Work on your website, make a phone call, send an email, set up a meeting. If you do 3 things every single day, at the end of the week you've done 15 things. If you happen to do 3 things every day of the week, which entrepreneurs sometimes work 7 days a week, you have done 100 things at the end of the month to help you get towards your vision. And the reason I want people to think in terms of a vision is particularly people who are in jobs that are not fulfilling. If you think about your job and the negative and the challenges, that's where you're putting your energy. So what I recommend is put your energy on something magnetic, something delicious. That means your whole energy, your attitude, your presence is going to change. And that's what will help you when you interview, when you network, when you meet other people.
You know, you made a great point, because I work with a lot of people that already have jobs that they're not happy with. They want to become entrepreneurs, which I can understand that. I love being an entrepreneur. You love being an entrepreneur. We can understand why people would want to do that. What I notice is when they start focusing on becoming an entrepreneur, we start working together, all of that negativity for the job dissipates because they see this new thing. They have a new focus. They have something else that they're working on. It totally changes the way they look at everything. So they've gone from, I really can't stand my job and have got to get out, to, wow, this is very exciting. These new things I'm learning, you know, the work that I'm doing to, you know, build this new business totally changes. They look younger, they're happier, they're more vital, they're more vibrant, their personality changes. It's amazing when you see the change in them.
And even people that have been laid off, and there's a lot of layoffs going on in corporate America these last couple of years. When people have been laid off, I have them do, before we even get their resume going, I have them do work to put closure on that last opportunity. And when they start to talk about the things that were wrong, the things that were bad, I have them turn it around and say, what would you like to see instead in your next job? And the reason we spend time doing that pre-work is so that when they show up for an interview, they're in a different place. They're ready to talk about positives of what they want to create and what they want to bring. And if their skills were not being used in an organization that was dysfunctional, how do you want to bring your skills so that you can make a contribution?
That's great. That's excellent advice. Are you going to come back on again and give us more information on this study when it's published? Because I haven't seen it. I'd love to talk about it.
Oh, I'd love to have it. We're happy to, and it's going to the graphic designer this week. The writing's been done and improved. One of the ways people can sign up on my website if they want to get a copy of it, and I'd be happy to come and talk about it because the results are awe-inspiring. And it will give people a very quick roadmap for how to further their career. We can do assessments for people one-on-one that says, how do you compare to the highly satisfied group of people? What did they do that I'm not doing? And we can give you a 3-step proactive plan, because having a proactive career action plan was one of the #1 things people said made a difference.
Wow.
So that would be my third thing that I would recommend to my audience. Invest in yourself. Invest in learning about your strengths and development needs. Invest in having an up-to-date resume and keeping it updated. And invest in having someone, a confidant, a coach, a mentor, help you articulate the value you bring forward.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, I loved it. It's so fun to talk to you. And
it's wonderful. I
thank
love
you.
it. Thank you.
Well, this is great because I have so much passion around achieving potential, and you exude that as well because you're so happy in what you do, and you love to share that with your audience, and so I love to do the same thing.
So thank you so much, Jodi. That was wonderful. I can't wait to have you back on. Was that fabulous or what? I love having Jodi on. I learned so much from her. I know you learned so much from her too. Thanks so much for tuning in. Lori Flaquet, Focus Forward. Bye-bye now.